This is Recovery Lifestyles with Carmel. Recovery Lifestyles is about courage, connection, and freedom. These are stories from men and women who have had the courage to be vulnerable and share how they have overcome addiction and mental health. We connect on Recovery Lifestyles as a way to let others know that they are not alone. And as a result of courage and connection, we walk in freedom, creating lives that we could have only imagined possible. On today's show, I speak with Paula, who is the author of a motivational poetry book titled From Me to You. Paula has a master's in business leadership and a bachelor's in organizational management. Paula is also an inspirational speaker, and today she will talk on grief. She's going to share her own personal journey with grief and give us tools for how to process, including how to carry joy inside some of those hardest times that we all face in life. Hey, Paula, how's it going?
Hi, all is well. How are you?
I'm good. So how is it in sunny, it's nice and warm where you are, right?
Oh yeah, we're totally baking over here in Florida. I always, my running joke is that in Christmas I'll be at the beach because it's supposed to be cold and wintry, but here we're all at the beach. So
We should do like a house swap.
yes,
You can
I would
come to
totally love
Canada
that.
and do all the wonderful snowy things you could do, and I'll go lay at the beach. That sounds fantastic.
Oh yeah, I would have a ball. I would have a blast over there, just for
Yeah,
probably a week.
right? So, well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on today and chat with my
Yeah.
audience.
hmm
I'm super excited for them to get to know you, and
hmm
you just have such a wealth of information. So, did you
hmm
want to share a little bit about who you are and what it is you do?
Yeah. So, of course, you see, my name is Paula, and I actually love education. So I have a background in education, work with kids from K through 12. And right now, I am in children's ministry right now, kind of doing more of the missionary work. But in my other parts of life, I always say it's my running joke,
Yeah.
is that I actually like to speak and I am an author and I love to do leadership kind of development and just kind of helping people grow in their stages in life and just letting them know that it's okay to try different things and trying to figure out their own mission in life. So that's a little bit about what I do and my actual, like the way I live my life Monday through Saturday, is that I actually take time to reflect. And then I say, okay, if I did something today, what would I want to do? So always, my running joke for myself is that I always have my hands in the pot in so many different things because
Uh,
I just feel like, oh, I just want to try that. I want to try that. But I have a natural ability to just be motivated and be able to share that passion with others and kind of help them to see things in a different perspective. So I love what I do, but I definitely, just enjoy kind of, bringing that change, being not just speaking about change, but actually creating that change. So,
yeah. So,
mhm,
and today we're going to get a little deep and personal about
mhm,
your own story of something that you've
yeah.
overcome and experienced. And did you want to lead
mhm.
into that a little bit?
Yeah, so just about shy 10 months ago, I lost my mom from cancer. She had two forms of cancer. One did form very slowly over the course of 4 years. They did mention that the life expectancy was going to be 5 years, so this was all in 2014. That journey started through a routine colonoscopy.
Mm.
And here we are thinking a routine colonoscopy, we're going to get a nice test result, and we're all going to go on our merry way. And then suddenly, we get the news that, oh, there's something that's found and it's got to be tested. And little did we know that was going to start the journey, literally a journey of lots of hospital stays and many appointments and different specialists. And I mean, I feel like I've learned so many things just from just cancer patients go through and what that looks like with their, the quality of life. So that all started 5 years ago. And then honestly, like in 2000, I'd say 2009 or 18, excuse me, towards the end of the year, towards the holidays, because I love the holidays.
Yeah.
And that is when her health just started declining. She had several surgeries, and those surgeries exacerbated a lot of the cells to kind of, attack more of the other organs. And so when you're in stage 4, of cancer, that can really you just start thinking about, okay, what could be comforted for her until, until she, leaves this earth. So we were planning for it, but naturally as kids in our, we say kids because even though I'm old enough, but my mom has just always called us her babies. And so it was really hard for us to say, okay, our mom's going to be gone any minute now. So what I did was I took the time to cherish time with her. On our drives to doctor's appointments, we would have conversations and just about life and so forth. But so suddenly she's a fighter. My mom's is a fighter.
Yeah.
And so January, 4 days after her birthday, she passed away, and we were able to see her pass away in front of us. And we told her it's okay, she can let go, because we were just it's hard to see, a death in a family, and especially a parent, but then it's hard to see the person suffering on the way out, so that was really hard for us.
Yeah. It just comes to mind when I'm listening to you speak, and just the joy that you carry with you today, even, and it's only been 10 months. And the other thing I was thinking about as you were speaking was just how death is a natural part of life. We all are going to die, but it just seems to be such a touchy subject still. And we're not speaking about it, and we're not maybe accepting it on the level that we could be. And I feel that that's where you're just, I don't know, trailblazer is what's coming to mind in a sense. I know, even when it's such a, grief is such a heavy topic, but so maybe trailblazer is not the right word, but the way you've stepped up and honored it. And so I want to speak a little bit more to that, about the process and how you went through the journey. I mean, that must have been really difficult on you.
Yeah, I could definitely say the first night of learning of the passing was really hard for me. I didn't sleep, of course. I was angry at God. I was like, why did you take such a good person away from us? We need her still. But I was also angry because of, you watch your family, your mother suffer. It's a hard thing to look at. And so the first couple of days, I did not sleep. Self-care went out the window. I no longer cared about if I ate or if I slept or if I was nourishing myself. It was hard because it was like, okay, I know that I can either grieve this properly or I could just let this thing take over. Because then the mindset starts to switch off, and now you're thinking, like, how can I live? I'm not going to be able to live. I'm not going to be able to live through this. So your mind really starts taking a turn very quickly. When you think you have a foundation with your mindset about things, that's when stuff like this happened. The tragedy that happened with my mother, it really kind of breaks you, and you really know what you're really made of. But that was hard for me, and we really tried to. What our family did, we prayed a lot together. We came to realization of, okay, the perspective of this right now is that, okay, she's not suffering. She's in the loving arms of her Father in heaven. She is okay. She's safe. She is healed. She's probably obviously rejoicing in her healed body. So we were kind of having to say to ourselves, what's the truth about the situation right now? And then try to take it one day at a time, because sometimes we rush through grief because we think, well, if I cry for 6 months straight, then I'm over it. It's not. It's a daily battle. It's a reset of the mind every day, and it's going to sleep and making sure that you can file away any false things that came throughout the day so that you're able to even go to sleep. So that's the natural battle that I've been dealing with, but going through it with prayer and, of course, support system. I am a part of a life group at my church. So being part of a life group and having people to say, hey, Paula, you're here, but I need to reel you back in. You remember what we thought about, remember your thoughts. So that accountability of just, okay, we've got to come back here. That has helped me a lot, tremendously. And yes, it's been a couple of months, but I think every day is a battle already without death. So this is just one of those, this is a big roadblock that's right in front of the daily path of life that's already hard enough.
That's huge. Talking about having a community, because we tend to, and I'm not sure if this was your experience because you have a family and you have a community that's foundation already built, but we tend to want to isolate when these things occur. And when we isolate, that's when our mindset can really become attacked. What are some other tools? I mean, I hear you saying praying in your community, but when you were going to sleep, are there any tools that you were using to just reaffirm in your mind who you are, what the truth is? Because I'm sure that was a battle as well.
Oh yeah, I am a very firm advocate of speaking things out loud, affirmations.
Okay.
When you're affirming who you are, when you're affirming the truth, when you're affirming truth, right, over yourself, there's a more of a mindset shift quicker. Also, what I have done too is that I take the time to say, okay, if I'm going, and I seem to be frustrated with someone or a conversation or anything that I'm working with, like task for work, if I feel like I'm getting frustrated, I have to stop myself and say, okay, like let's reprocess, let's reprogram. If I find myself emotional for 1 minute, okay, what triggered that emotion? Let's process that piece. It's kind of like when you are putting puzzle piece together, you're like analyzing all the pieces to say, okay, let's put this picture together and see what the root cause is of why I'm having an emotional outburst, and then trying to remind myself of those truths that we talked about maybe a couple of months ago or the day before. And then going to sleep, of course, as your day progresses, you're going to sleep at some point. So your mind has to shut down. So what I do is I tend to play music, soft music. I love music. That kind of helps me to kind of detox and unwind. And I also, if I feel like I still can't sleep, of course, like I try to find ways to journal.
Nice.
Journal entries are a big thing that it's kind of, for me, it's like, it's a release, it's a release of that moment and what I'm feeling. And I'm okay to write that down. It's as if I'm speaking it to someone, especially in the wee hours of the morning when no one's awake. So you're like, I'm going to just talk to my journal. Or I'll just write it out because I know that it's out there. It's in the atmosphere now. And of course, you can write out prayers, of course, like that. But then sometimes, even in those midst of journaling, it may trigger those emotions again. But your outlet of those emotional outbursts is important because they're going to have to come out somehow, right? So it's finding the right outlets for those moments.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a huge advocate of journaling. That's how I've gotten through all of my trauma and life experiences. So I love that you were saying that. Now, I did hear you sort of say it in the beginning, but you took some time and just stopped and just enjoyed those moments with your mom in those final days. Now that's hard because our world is going fast. And I mean, how did you stop in the midst of everything? Because, right, our society tells us we can't.
Yeah, I totally had so many things happening. Work is demanding and you have other chores and I, live on my own. So it's like trying to figure all the things out and making sure that the daily routines are still being taken care of. Yeah. I had to actually say to myself, because I naturally am a controller, I have to control every little thing. I get that. I was like, I probably need to scale back because if I need to mentally have the space available to cherish those moments with my mother, I need to start saying no to things that I naturally would say yes to. And yes, it may be a sacrificial thing at the moment, but okay, so whatever I'm sacrificing right now, it's more, obviously, it's not as important because my mom, you only have one mom. You only have a moment in time, right? You don't know at any given moment when she's going to go. So I had to say to myself, that can wait. This person can wait. This conversation can wait. Because right now, my time with my mother is valuable. And those are those memories that, she's going to obviously want. And then I'm going to obviously want for me. Because eventually, those last hours and how you spend it with someone who's passing away, in the process of passing away, that's going to help you to heal as well. That's going to be part of your healing process because yes, now she's passed away. I can now take to my mind and say, you know what? Yes, it is hard right now. It's emotional, but I remember those last few moments. I held her hands. I told her I love her and she loved me. And I was at peace knowing that that moment occurred rather than, oh, I missed that moment because of work. Now it's going to, now, not only am I going to have to go through the passing of my mom, but now I'm going to be so mad at myself and have a guilt trip that I let work get in the way.
Yeah.
So it's that moment that I have to say, no, this is more important.
Well, I just trust right now that there's somebody out there
Yeah.
listening that maybe in this situation and will hear that. Because I find you know, even in my community right now that this is coming up a lot, is people are not taking time. You know, they're going through grief, they're having huge trauma, they're getting sober, right? And they're not taking the space because they fear that they won't be able to live, or they fear that, you know, that person won't be there, or the money won't be there. And it's like, no, the freedom and the I don't know why I'm going to say magic, but that's what's coming to my mind, is when you just stop. You stop and you focus on what's important, and it just seems to all come together. And I really hear you saying that. And I just honor you for that. I mean, wow, because that must not have been easy, right? Like,
it's not. It takes a lot of discipline. Lots of discipline in the mind. Lots of discipline.
For sure. So is there anything that you feel would be really important for someone listening if they are experiencing, but maybe they're going through a situation like you are right now? Maybe they just found out that they're having someone really important to them in their life has cancer and has a limited time. What would you want to say to those people?
I would tell them that take the time to linger. That is something that is a word that I learned 2 weeks ago in one of our meetings for my job. And they were saying, you know, you have to take time to stop, take time to linger. And the word linger meaning take time to soak in the moment that you're in. Don't just rush through the moment. Don't just rush through the grief. Don't just rush through that person's last hour, but just take time and stop and linger. Even if you're tempted to rush through stuff, you're tempted to, you know, okay, I got to hurry up and get over this grief because I have to go back to my normal life. Stop, take a deep breath and linger. That's what I want everyone to do, is like learn how to take that pause and linger and allow yourself to feel whatever you need to feel in that time of pausing, and allow yourself to release it. But the way you release it in your outlets, you have to choose which outlets obviously work, because not every outlet is appropriate. But those are those things that are very, very big, important. They're the keys, because it's kind of like you're laying that foundation so that process can start happening, because it is not going to be this quick and easy formula. There's no one shoe or one, I don't know, one size fit or something like that. I keep forgetting that phrase. But it is something that you have to have an intentional discipline in doing, and doing it now, even without any deaths, even without anything like you're grieving over. If you're practicing to stop and linger and take the moments in, it'll prepare you for those moments that are going to come. Like you said, it happens all the time. We're not surprised by death.
No. And but yet we are. I mean, and why do you think that is? Do you have an opinion on that?
I think because we forget that we're temporary beings on earth. So we want everything longevity. I mean, think about it. We want to age. We don't want to age too quick. We want everything. We want to be 30s for a long time. We want to have money for a long time. We want to have everything. Is like we're fighting for no one wakes up and say, I just want this short term. Everyone wants things longer. Everyone wants things to stay still and don't change, especially people that they love and they're close to. So it's this mind. It's like a filing cabinet all the way in the deep back of our minds that we don't want to ever pull out, so that we can file our mom that passed, we can file our kids that passed, or we can file our brothers, our nephew. We don't want that cabinet that we know we're going to have to open throughout our life and put those memories in those files. So we keep that filing cabinet closed, cemented in the back, and we know it exists, but we don't want to talk about it. So it is all about, we just like long-term. Long-term is our favorite thing.
Well, look at the cosmetics, you know, I mean, Botox, all of it, right? We're living in a society that's just trying to stop everything. It's, And how do you operate on that? I'm reading this book, actually. You might have heard of it. It's called To Hell with the Hustle. Have you heard?
I got to read that. Now I like that title. I love that title.
It's exactly what we're talking about right now, is that we're all just striving and trying so hard, and yet the real movement is in the rest.
Yeah.
But yet, you walk out your front door, or you turn on your phone, and you're bombarded already with all the reasons you need to be, getting over here and getting over there, and just, getting over our stuff, because we all just want to be happy all the time. And it's like, well, this is not reality. I mean, so anyway.
And happiness doesn't have to be rushing. Happiness happens better when you're lingering and in the moment.
I love that. I need to look up the definition of lingering now in the dictionary, because I haven't heard that word in a while. But lingering, you're right. That's kind of
hanging out.
Yeah, that's where the freedom is, right? At least in the little glimpses for myself in my own life, I can relate to where I've allowed myself after a trauma to just stop and be. And I can remember having to retrain my brain and being like, it's okay that it's 1 p.m. and I'm sitting on the couch. This is okay. But yet the war in your mind is telling you, no, you're not being productive. You're not achieving. So, this is not okay. And it's a big topic for me in this past couple of weeks, and especially since I picked up this book. So
yeah, I totally got to read that. Now you got me interested in reading it.
Well, it's so funny. I went into chapters yesterday, and I thought, I need to buy the hard copy of this because I have it on my iPad, and I couldn't find it. So maybe it's not popular enough yet. Well,
I love the catchy title to it, so piqued my interest.
But going back to you, is there anything as we start to wrap up that's on your heart that you would really love to share?
Well, I definitely know that, for me personally, it's extraordinarily hard still. But I think that we all go through something to help others. And it's interesting because I'm in that journey of helping others with the same situation. And so I definitely believe that nothing is by accident. Nothing in our lives, trials, traumas, any seasons in our lives, they're all not by accident. And that there is a greater purpose in it, even though in the moment we're like, there's no way, I can't see it, but there is. And you're going to always go back to that moment. And as you age and as you go through life, you're going to say, I remember that time. And now I see where I use that grief and helping someone else, or that situation that I went through. Man, it changed a wave of people. And so that's what I hope to do, is be able to, say, hey, look, this is still fresh for me.
Yeah.
But when you do it the right way and you're processing it the right way, you could still be healthy. You could still be in your natural living and still have the energy to live life and not feel like you have to be going with the wave of the world. And it's okay to stop and say, okay, you guys can go. I can stop and hang out here for a little bit and take it all in, and I'll catch up. Because you will always catch up with the wave of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're hitting on it right there, is that we're always afraid that we're going to fall behind somehow. And yet we're not.
The fear of missing out.
Yes. I can't believe that's an acronym now.
Yes.
Well, Paula, if anyone that's listening would like to connect with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can definitely, you can email me. I have my personal email. It's POREZ815@gmail.com. I also have an Instagram account. It is, you can follow me at Paula O Store. And then also my website, of course, www.paulaostore.com. There's some fun things that'll be on that site as well, to be able to connect and create that community. And I'll be definitely looking forward to connecting.
Yeah. Well, and I'll have your links available under this video. So if anyone is wanting to reach out, it'll be easy and accessible. So again, just thank you so much for, being vulnerable, being willing to talk about a subject as heavy as this, and, at the same time, kind of making it fun.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Yep. It's okay to laugh. You don't have to be a stone cold person throughout every single moment, but it's okay.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. And maybe we'll do this again soon.
Oh yeah. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.